Hello,
Hello.
welcome. I am drinking a chai, sort of, with milk and honey in my hipster coffee shop. How is everybody doing? Feel free to let me know where you're calling from and what your beverage of choice is today.
Yeah, I'm calling from West Michigan. I didn't bring a beverage. I was in a rush to get up to my office.
Drink water, drink water.
I'm calling from Toronto and I'm drinking water.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I am in the middle of Wisconsin, so I'm not far from both of you,
Oh, nice.
relatively speaking.
Yeah.
I'm from Germany.
Germany.
Weingarten, yes, near Ravensburg. It's a small city. Yeah, and I must say I forgot my drink. The most important thing. I'm sorry.
It happens.
Drink water, drink water.
Yeah.
It's late afternoon for you, evening, early evening.
Yeah, it's evening. It's 6 o'clock.
Yep.
6:30.
I was having trouble connecting my audio. Are we doing introductions?
Yeah, just let me know where you're calling in from and what your beverage of choice is for this coffee break.
Coffee, and I'm in Columbus, Ohio.
Nice.
Yeah, always coffee.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining. Mark is on the road, so he won't be here today. He's, I think, going camping this weekend. He told me, and it went in one ear and out the other. So.
I'll say where exactly is camping?
He's in around LA somewhere, so somewhere in California, Southern California.
I mean, can you really camp in LA? I mean, no one even walks there.
Yeah.
Well, Mark's a little bit different. He finds a way to get outdoors no matter where he is. A couple people just joined. Welcome. Let us know where you're calling in from and what your beverage of choice is for this coffee break. Thanks for joining.
Hi, everyone. I just joined. I'm currently calling in from Lawrence, Kansas, and I am drinking tea because I've already had my coffee fill for the day because it's almost noon.
What kind of tea?
It's like an apple cider kind of vibe. I've found that apple tea is just absolutely delicious, really fall themed, but I still love it.
I've never had apple tea. That sounds great. A lot of Midwestern United States attendees today.
Yeah, I'm Alex. I'm calling from Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, which is near Chicago and Milwaukee. And I have a decaf coffee latte. And yeah.
Awesome. Sounds like you've got it all figured out. Not too much caffeine, but you're still doing your coffee.
Yeah, I gave up regular coffee and now I just drink decaf. But
yep.
And tea. Tea's
nice.
great.
I drink a coffee alternative. The brand is called Rasa, and it's made of mushrooms and herbs to sort of try and mimic the taste of coffee.
I love Dandy Blend. Have you had Dandy Root? And
similar, yeah. I think dandelion root is one of the things that they have in it. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like dandelion and chicory, and then some. What's the lion's tail mushroom or something? Horse tail, some animal tail that's actually not an animal.
Sorry, what is the mushroom coffee?
Might be lion's bane, yeah. Mushroom coffee, exactly.
So, like, what does the mushroom coffee
do
or doesn't do that decaf coffee cannot?
There's a lot of health benefits to mushrooms. I don't know exactly what they are. I just read the package and I was like, all these things sound great.
If you go to foursigmatic.com, they have some good stuff. I know.
Yeah.
The brand, yeah.
Four Sigmatic is one. The one that I use is called Rasa. Mine also comes with some herbs that have some health benefits in it. So I'm like, I'll take whatever I can get. I need all of the benefits. Welcome, new folks. Feel free to let us know where you're calling in from and what your beverage of choice is for this coffee break.
Hey guys, I'm Holly. I just joined yesterday because of Alex. So nice to see you again,
Yeah,
Alex.
nice to see you, Holly.
My beverage of choice is mineral water. So not very exciting.
Very exciting. Perfect. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Glad you're here.
Glad I'm here too.
Hi, I'm Danny. I'm calling from New York. And I'm drinking water as well. I had
Hi,
matcha
Danny.
this morning.
Nice. Nice. Hi, the puppy.
He's biting he won't stop biting my hand.
How old is he?
Oh, he's so tiny.
He's 10 weeks.
Oh.
Is it puppy time?
Oh, yay.
I got
Oh my
puppies here.
God.
Yeah.
He's a little scraggly. He needs a haircut.
Actually, we had a cat in my house like just yesterday. You just missed her.
Oh.
Time is always welcome. Cool. So thanks everybody for joining. I'm Sarah. For those of you who are new, we do these every week just to catch up and say hi. And it's just kind of an open forum to share anything new, anything that anyone wants to celebrate this week. And if you're, new to Climate Designers, or even if you've been here for a while, let us know if you have any questions about the organization, the platform, or anything really about being a climate designer. And we're just here to chat for half an hour and check in, see how you all are doing. So if anyone feels bold, jump in and let us know what's on your mind. Otherwise, I'll pick a topic.
I am. Oh,
No, go ahead.
okay. I am starting the Western New York chapter, and we were thinking of an event. We just talked briefly about it because I'm doing it with my professor, so we see each other in passing through Zoom meeting classes, and but we were talking about doing an event where a grounding event. So we'll have everybody come into a Zoom, introduce themselves, and then send everybody out on a walk, and then just to and then send them with questions and stuff to point out and notice, and just to be grounded where the land you're on and stuff like that. So if anybody has any ideas for questions we could send out with people, or any ideas, I would really appreciate it.
I love that. What are the main colors that you're seeing? What are some things that you're smelling? What are some sounds that you hear? What else?
So I do this with one of my friends. We'll talk on the phone while we go on walks, and then send each other pictures, usually of flowers that we find. So maybe if they took a picture of something beautiful.
I love that idea.
I wonder if you could explore alternative mark making with maybe things that people find. Do you have to draw something with a stick? Do you have to bring back a leaf and use it as a texture? Maybe then making some sort of a challenge based on that walk, where you have to take something physical that you found that was in some sort of an organic or growing substance, and then turn it into your practice.
I love that too. Thank you guys.
Leave little symbols, like little arrows made of twigs, and then people can find it and be like, what does it mean?
That's a good idea too. Yay. Love this.
That's a really unique idea for a Zoom call. It's let's all get on Zoom and then let's get off Zoom.
that was Jason's idea. I can't do
I love it. Awesome. What else is new? Anyone else have anything going on?
Maybe I could say some words. I'm currently working on my bachelor thesis about sustainable web design. And I'm currently working on a specific design process that I could use because I want to expand behind a normal human-centered design to a planet-centric or environment-centric design. So maybe you guys have experience with such a process or some tips or UX methods, maybe.
My training is in UX design. Is that kind of what your coursework is in as well, or?
Could you repeat it once again?
Yeah, I heard some feedback on my audio there. I said I'm a UX designer, and
Mhm.
and I and you're talking about like not only sustainable web design but also like sustainable
UX design.
Sustainable UX as well as various human-centric solutions. So do you already have like a solid idea of what your thesis is going to be, or is that just kind of the direction you want to take it?
I wanted to design a website and therefore a screen design for a sustainable website. And as the structural basis of my thesis, I wanted to choose a design process. And I wanted to center not only the human, but also the earth and the nature. So therefore, I wanted to incorporate that in my design thinking as well. So for example, I have the earth as a persona, and you look for the user and in context of the environment as well.
Yeah, I think the question was how to incorporate more than just the UX framework or the human-centered framework and incorporate the earth and climate into that.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Earth is your persona. Okay, that's really interesting.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that as a framework. And also, did you attend the party program that we put on early March, Selena?
No, I just recently joined.
Okay, cool. We put on an event early March, and one of the things that came to mind when you were asking your question is one of the sessions that we had at that event by Jill Witt. She gave us a climate justice framework that you could insert into your design process. So whether your design process is human-centered design or a more traditional UX process, she adds another layer of climate justice to like put into that. And it's mostly, I don't know, I see it as a lot of questions that you ask at every step of the process, which have a lot to do with who are the users that this touches. And I love that you're including Earth as a user. So I think that you would be able to use that same framework and ask, how does this impact the Earth at every step of the process? Another thing that I'll say is on that angle of climate justice and using the Earth as a persona, I have a controversial thing that I say often where the planet is not the thing that's in danger right now with our climate crisis. The planet's changing because of the human-made, issues. But what's in danger is humans' ability to thrive on the planet when the planet changes. humans
Mhm.
and animals and all of the species that we depend on to live and thrive. And people get a little bit like, oh, I don't really like something about that when I say that, because I'm still very much a human-centered designer. And for me, it's like we need to keep a balance that enables all of the life that we depend on to thrive. And so it's still a human-centered approach, in my opinion. It's just a little bit more of a larger and longer term one. Like we don't want to just make a profit in the next 5 or 10 years if it means destroying our resources and habitat and ecosystems that we depend on 50 years from now. Like it's just a more holistic way of looking at things, and people get a little bit like, something about that feels wrong, because we've been taught for so long that like humans are destroying the planet, and so we just need to like let the planet do its thing. And it's not necessarily true. Humans have been stewarding nature to work in both of our benefit for centuries, longer, question mark. And when we remove humans, like for example, when the US removed indigenous people from the wilderness and took over the national parks and nationalized them, the national parks suffered because the people who were stewarding that land for however many centuries they were before that were then locked out of that land and couldn't continue to do what they'd been doing, and then the balance got off. So
That's an interesting point. I didn't look at it that way. So
It
input.
doesn't sound like a particularly. Is my audio feedbacking again? Am I coming in clear?
Yeah,
you're good
Okay.
now. Yeah.
It doesn't sound like a particularly. At first glance, it doesn't sound particularly controversial. In fact, honestly, that's how you get more people on board. It's not just
Yeah.
saving. It's not just saving the planet because we like nature. This is what's good for humanity. It appeals
Yeah.
to people's self-interest.
Exactly. Thank you.
So you don't work for someone else, but you work for yourself and for your future as well, and not for the planet particularly.
Yeah, everybody, like conservatives, liberals, people in general, are more likely to care about their own well-being and the well-being of their children, their family, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Selena, what did you say your project was about? Like, what was the website about?
I don't particularly know the content of it. I wanted to give a kind of guide for designers who want to create websites, how they can incorporate sustainability questions in their normal screen design decisions. So maybe a guide and some best practices that they can look up on the website. The content is my priority, but also the way I create the website and the screen design and the decisions, so that I have the possibility to create a website from start to finish, from design to development, so that I can talk about it more clearly and know what I'm talking about from. Yeah.
That's really interesting. I hope you'll share your updates
Of course.
as you go.
Awesome. Anyone else want to bring up a thing that they're working on this week?
So this is my the first climate designers meeting. So let me know if what I'm sharing is not, within the scope of what you guys share. But I think with everyone's background and knowledge, I think any feedback on this project would be helpful. So yeah, just to give you some background, I was in the mental health space, and then I launched a book on mindfulness. It was called Let That Shit Go, and it was like a no filter approach to it, and it's been really successful, and it's been really great. We're in 14 countries now and still doing really well in the US and Canada. But I had this whole reckoning with the wellness space when I was in it. I was really depressed about the climate crisis, and when I began to kind of express my concerns and my anger and my frustration with my community and my co-author, I kind of had this backlash of like, no anger, like good vibes only. Like, I don't want to express that. And so there was just a lot of like toxic positivity and spiritual bypassing at play. And I felt so frustrated because, and even within my friends, like I could talk to them about my boyfriends and, things in my family. But when it came to the pain that I was feeling about Mother Nature, it was really difficult because not many people could understand and how to hold that. And then I got on this whole other journey of just understanding colonization and capitalism and just intersectionality, basically, and seeing how like the wellness space doesn't really acknowledge all the externalities that impact our anxiety as well. So inequality, I live in Toronto, and everyone who's in their 30s can barely afford a home. And then, how racism impacts us and misogyny. So I really wanted to kind of take a step away from what I was doing and build something that was specifically dedicated to understanding how systems impact our mental health and wellness. So I launched an Instagram, and I've been kind of nervous about just building it, and I have a few images and stuff that I can share, but I would love your feedback. And I also built out a documentary, but that's a little bit longer, so for another time. But I'd love kind of your feedback on what I have so far on my Instagram, just like images and the way like that I'm kind of explaining what it is. So
Awesome.
do you want me
Yeah.
to, do you want me to show a screen share or?
I would love that. Actually, we do that exact thing during our global meetup. So, yeah, we have our next one coming up, I think, in about 2 weeks. So I would have you save that for them, because then we can dedicate a little bit more time to give you feedback. And feel free to post a link to your Instagram right now, and we can all check it out in the meantime.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, post that in the chat and we'll check it out. And I have to tell you that this topic is something that's been on my mind as well. The wellness industry is very interesting to me and kind of near and dear to my heart, because I have a lot of chronic health issues, and I, in trying to find the root cause, because our medical system always just chases symptoms. It's taken me on a lot of different journeys, including getting a yoga certification as a yoga teacher. And I still can't figure out what exactly to do with all of that, but it's important to me. So I'm really interested in what you're talking about.
Cool.
For sure. And another thing is, in the climate space, in the environmental space, and really any activism space, there is a lot of trauma and difficulty that we need to, address and learn how to manage and work through, and not just gloss over because we're doing good work. And one of the books that I read recently is about that, called Trauma Stewardship. There's that word again, stewardship, right? But it has a longer title. I can't think of it right now, but if you search for trauma stewardship, I think you'll find it. That talks about exactly this, like managing trauma in your activism work and in communities that are doing impact work, which I think is something really interesting that we all should look at, or at least be aware of.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks so much. Yeah, thanks for letting me share that. I'm happy to share it at the global meeting. But if you guys check it out and DM me with any thoughts on the design and the bio, I'm really open to no filter feedback.
I would love that. And yeah, during the global meetup, we have people share probably 4 or 5 visuals to kind of describe what it is that you're doing, and you know, the goal of the project, who it's for, that kind of thing. And then we kind of ask you to think about the kind of feedback that you'd like. And then we welcome up to like 4 or 5 different people to present their projects that they're working on, works in progress, new ideas. And then we let everybody present, and then we break up into little breakout rooms, and every person who presented gets their own room, and the people who want to give feedback go into that room, so we can give a bunch of different people feedback pretty quickly. And participants can jump from room to room to give each other feedback.
Awesome. Okay,
Yeah,
great. Thanks.
it's really fun. We've gotten a lot of good feedback on it, and I love seeing the projects that people in this community are working on, because obviously everybody here is so creative and so intelligent and so multi-talented, like a lot of different areas of interest. And I think climate obviously touches everything, so there's a lot of different places that people can go. We get to see people who are starting podcasts, people, you know, last month, someone was creating a book for the Catholic community, and how the Catholic faith should be all in on climate as a topic, as a concern. And I just think, you know, all of this is amazing. Like, everybody has the thing that they're drawn to, or the thing that they have a community around, and that's where they can make an impact. And so it's just so cool to watch. So yeah, definitely, if anybody else wants to present something during that meeting, we are still taking, I don't know, like people, submissions, projects. Nobody's really volunteered this month yet, except for you now. And there's like not an application process or anything. It's super casual. Just comment on the event to let me know that you want to present something. I just shared a link to a post for Selena, if you're still on the call. Yes. Wait. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I'm
Super.
still here. Nice. I will look at it. Thank you.
Exactly on the topic that you were talking about. There's a link to an article on sustainable web design and some cool conversation. 2 minutes left. Anyone want to share something before we check out?
This isn't about something I've been doing, but I just read something this morning that Google Maps was going to have a low carbon option for routes. So if when you like map your location, you know, try to get directions to somewhere, it will give you, instead of like the fastest or the least number of miles, it will give you like the least impactful route option. And I thought that was a really cool thing. Just like I mean, probably not simple from the back end, but a simple change to their UI that could get a lot of people to think about how they were traveling.
That is really interesting. I wonder if that came from, there's a designer, I think he's in the UK, named Ted Hunt. And I saw him post on Instagram an idea that was like, what if Google Maps defaulted to walking or biking, and then busing, and then driving? Or if you were mapping something that, you know, why is the first suggestion the car? Why is the first suggestion not low carbon?
Yeah, especially if it's like a mile away or something like that.
Yeah. And he was like, if you just change the defaults, maybe you would have a much more impact than if you, like, you know, speaking of sustainable web design, which one is more impactful? Changing the default of Google Maps, which goes out to millions and millions of people, or changing the color of the background? You know what I mean? So it's more of a systemic, holistic look at what kind of an impact you're making.
Although you've touched on, sorry,
It's okay. Go ahead.
you've touched on a much larger issue that personally I think it'd be cool to work in or to tackle, like the idea of public transit, like here in America, and especially especially true as you get further west. All our cities, towns, and the general infrastructure is built around the car. So that tends to be the default for a lot of people, even if there are other options available. For instance, I could in the city I'm living right now, I could take a bus to where I need to go, but frankly, for a city this size, they do kind of the bare minimum of busing. I mean, unless you have places like Chicago or New York, and this is especially prevalent on the East Coast because they're more modeled after European cities. That's when they first were laid down. They're much more. They tend to be much more people friendly. So with their extensive bus networks as well as trains and subways and the like, and they're just much more dense. Whereas if you get somewhere like LA, just like they established the city and then they just kind of kept spreading until eventually it's like 2 hours of traffic to get from one end to the other.
Right. It's very location dependent and depends on the available options too, but it's just like a different way of thinking about things. Anyway, it's 2 minutes past the top of the hour, so I don't want to keep everyone if they have another meeting to jump onto, feel free. And I am like super grateful that you have joined and spent this time with us today. It's always such a delight to see your faces, and I'm happy to stay on if anybody wants to continue talking about this stuff because it's really interesting conversation. But thank you. If you have to jump off, feel free, and I'll hopefully see you at the next one. And if not the next coffee break, I'll see you at the global meetup, I hope.
Great.
Thanks,
So
guys.
much. Bye.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
It's I guess everybody's left. I was gonna ask.